This is not financial literacy. You can read all my books, you can read all my speeches, you can read everything. I never use the term financial literacy. Literacy is something of the mind. We're talking about freedom, which is something of the heart.
Yes, sir.
And I learned from that centurion in Matthew chapter 8 why it's so hard, Pastor Craig, to get this. I learned from the centurion. You remember that centurion?
Yes, sir.
The Bible says Jesus came into Capernaum, and he just healed a leper. And he was stopped by a centurion. The centurion said, my servant is grievously tormented.
Yes, sir.
And Jesus said, I'll come to your house and heal him. Now the centurion said, no, Lord, you can't come to my house. You know, I got magazines on my coffee table I don't want you to see. I got some stations on my cable thing. I don't, you know, you can't come to my house. And so the centurion said to Jesus, just speak a word, and my servant will be healed. Y'all remember that?
Yes, sir.
And Jesus then looked at Peter. Now, you know, Peter left his fishing business to follow Jesus. Luke left his medical practice to follow Jesus. Matthew left his money on the table to follow Jesus. Yet Jesus looked at these fellas who had enough faith to leave everything to follow him. And Jesus said to them that I've never seen faith like the soldier. Now, had I been Peter, I'd have said, well, Lord, what about me? I had enough faith to leave my business. Luke, I had enough faith to leave my medical practice. Matthew, I had enough faith to leave my tax collecting business. What was it about this soldier that made Jesus say, I've never seen faith like that before? Well, whatever it was, I said, Lord, I want that kind of faith. And Jesus said, well, how did the soldier know that I could heal his servant from a distance? Jesus had never healed from a distance before. He just healed a leper, and he touched him. That woman with the issue of blood, she touched the hem of his garment. The man with blinded eyes, he put a mud cake on his face and touched him. Peter's mother-in-law had a fever, and Jesus touched him. How did the soldier never been to church. The soldier wasn't there when Jesus walked on water. The soldier wasn't there when Jesus said, peace be still. How did the soldier, no seminary degree, no communion on first Sunday, never been baptized, how did the soldier know that Jesus could heal from a distance? Well, you see, those other fellows had normal faith. Normal faith trusts God to do what God always does. But that soldier had amazing faith. The Bible says Jesus was amazed when he heard that soldier. And amazing faith trusts God to do what God has never done before. Our problem is we got normal faith. He woke me up this morning. He always wakes you up in the morning. He started me on my way. He always starts us on our way. He made a way out of no way. That's what God always does. But every now and then, God will do what God has never done before. He will pay your bills off. He will give you a business you never thought you could have. He'll get rid of your student loans. We've got to believe that God can do what God has never done before. I believe God will use the National Baptist Convention like God has never used it before. He'll set financial captives free, and Jesus will say, I've never seen faith like that before.